What is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. It is Sunday, July the 15th, 2018, and Extreme Rules just went off the air, and I do not understand how they could fuck this up. How do you have the main event that you have tonight and still walk out of Pittsburgh looking like absolute, complete idiots? I don't understand it. So thank you for joining me, because we're going to go over it together as we bring the hammer down tonight on Extreme Rules right here and right now. On the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, baby. And now on Spotify, it's time for the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Let your hammers fly. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me, as always, is my trusty team, Thor, the Hammer of Reality. Thor, the wrestling god of thunder and the official sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. My little buddy, my most trusted companion in the whole entire world. I would never sound so great without him. He is the world heavyweight champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. Thank you guys for checking out our Extreme Rules review tonight. I just don't get it. I just don't understand. And before we even get started with the madness that was that main event, I need to bring the hammer down on the city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I usually love when the WWE goes to Pittsburgh. They're full of smart fans, you know, smarks, smart marks, whatever you want to call them. It's usually a pretty rowdy crowd, a heavy ECW influenced crowd. Tonight, you guys were disrespectful. Absolute disrespectful. Unnecessary for them to be counting down every minute on the clock during tonight's 30-minute Ironman match. Now, maybe that was the fault of the WWE for booking it so horrendously, but I can't really place too much blame on that because it started right from the get-go. Maybe it's because you gave these guys an almost 4-hour show. Maybe they felt like it was too long. Maybe they were exhausted after the amount of things that they had to experience on this night. Maybe having to sit through fucking Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax just made everybody completely want to check out. And that's why the heavyweight championship match suffered as well. The two main events on this evening, it just seems like Pittsburgh couldn't give two shits less. Sure, there was a little bit of, you know, AJ and Rusev Day back and forth going on, but at the end of the day, that match suffered from a lack of crowd participation, and it suffered from a lot of other things, as did many things on this pay-per-view tonight. Absolutely ridiculous how they could fail on such an epic proportion with a 30-minute Ironman matchup that features two of the very best in-ring talents in the modern era that they have underneath their company, and they blew it. They absolutely fucking blew it. Can I say that I'm surprised? No. I cannot be surprised at the fact that they took something so simple and fucked it up on such an enormous level. Do you guys understand that when Dolph Ziggler challenged Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship on that open challenge, they went almost 30 minutes. It took him almost 30 minutes to beat Seth Rollins on that night. Just a couple of weeks ago, during his rematch for the Intercontinental Championship, Seth Rollins went almost another 30 minutes with Dolph Ziggler not being able to best him before things would end. And now tonight, 30 minutes, not even, in less than 30 minutes. In maybe a 20-minute time span, we had 7 pinfalls on this night. That's the WWE trying to create unnecessary drama. They could have created the exact same thing by having 0 pinfalls. But the way the crowd was tonight in Pittsburgh, I don't know if they would have had the patience for that. It was an absolute surprise to me the way the crowd reacted. I couldn't even believe it. No respect for the Intercontinental Championship. No respect for the Ironman match type. What are you counting down to? What are you counting for? It's not even like you were in the final minute of the match. Then I could understand. It's the final 10 seconds of the match. The countdown begins. What are you counting down from 29:10 to 28 minutes? What, are you in a rush to fucking get home? You're in the middle of one of the best matches you're going to see in your life. Well, I thought at the time. Maybe they felt disrespected and didn't want to even give you the match that we were going to get out of them. Maybe that's why they turned to rest holds and taking their time during the middle of the match. The crowd was completely disinterested in this match. All they gave a shit was about the clock. I was reading on Twitter, people were stating that the WWE took the time clock down from the Titantron screen so that the crowd couldn't play sing-along with the fucking TikTok clock. So they just started to randomly count down from 10. Not even coinciding with the actual clock that we at home were seeing. Why were you so bored? There was decent action. It wasn't like it was a bad match. I don't understand. This isn't the fucking Royal Rumble. What are you counting for? Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Not that really the match was... I mean, it was a good match, but it's definitely not what I expected. Not what I expected. 7 pinfalls in 2 minutes. I'm sorry, within 20 minutes, not 2 minutes. God forbid it was 2 minutes. I would think I would have lost my rocker if that would have happened. Unbelievable. This whole entire show was somewhat that way. Extreme Rules came to us from the PPG Paints Arena. Right? Pittsburgh. Disrespectfulvania. Let's go to the match card. We'll start with the main event because I just don't understand it. What was the point of Drew McIntyre's involvement? Why have him attack Seth Rollins, put Dolph Ziggler in an even bigger hole to try to climb himself out of, and then come back in the end and play a major factor in the overtime portion of this match when he was barred from ringside to begin with? What, because the match restarted? That doesn't count? He was just lying in wait in the crowd the whole time? That's still breaking the rules. Not that I'm against breaking the rules, because obviously they're the heels, that's what you're going to do to win. But what an anticlimactic finish to what could have been one of the better matches of the year. On a B-level pay-per-view you want to call Extreme Rules, which was main evented by an Ironman match in which you could be disqualified and you could be counted out. Not very extreme. How extreme are the two talents involved if they're getting pinned 3 times each? I don't like that. I don't like that. I really thought they were going to go a more similar route of how they booked Shawn and Brett all those years ago at WrestleMania 12. It would have been a classic. You would have maybe actually got the crowd's involvement because you would have showcased non-stop action for about 25 minutes non-stop. These guys they have the capability to do that. They have the cardiovascular training and the ability to go 25 minutes hard and just completely turn the engines on full blast and give us something special. And then in that last 5 minutes, you create the drama. Maybe one guy gets a fall, another guy gets a fall. You end up in a controversial tap-out situation as the clock counts down, and then you idiots can count down with the clock at the end of the match. Setting up for a sudden death finish in which you could have had anything happen, which you did. You would have created a whole lot more drama with less pinfalls and giving us more action. If you wouldn't have given the crowd time to start counting, maybe they would have never begun that shit. And now it's a good bet to me that we're not going to ever have an Iron Man match again for fear that the crowd will try to hijack the match once again just to have that fun moment of counting down with the clock, which I just don't understand why you guys did that. I really just fucking don't get it. Seth Rollins does not win back his Intercontinental Championship in this matchup. It was just, by the time it was all said and done, I really just didn't care, you know? But that doesn't mean that you could just straight up disrespect the talent involved. That's something that I'm very much against. I don't know if one thing really had to do with the other. It's very possible that they heard the crowd shitting all over them and playing with numbers, and that they just phoned it in for the rest of the match. So those of us at home were not able to enjoy this to the fullest extent. That's what I truly believe happened here. Because like I said, we've seen these guys go 30 minutes on Monday Night Raw multiple times over this building of this feud, and it was way better than what we got tonight. I don't understand how they could screw this up. I really don't. Let's go right to the top of the card. Back to the start of this mess. We started off on the pre-show. We had a little extra pre-show match. I don't have a picture all done up for it because they didn't announce it until I think earlier today. Sin Cara versus Andrade Cien Almas, like I talked about on the pre-show, the preview show, how that should have been part of the main card. I still feel that. They put on an absolutely great match during the pre-show. It was a little bit cut short for my taste, and the WWE felt it necessary to promote Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley during this pre-show match. Why during the pre-show? I mean, that's the whole point of the pre-show. That's why Renee Young and Sideshow Bob and Booker T and David Otunga are sitting there anyway, is to book and build the matches and tell you guys the card. You don't have to interfere or interrupt the matches that are going on. I don't understand that. It was a very quick, but it was a decent match. I would have put this on the main card. Definitely over Baron Corbin and Finn Balor. Most likely over most of the other shit that we've seen tonight. We had 2 SmackDown Live pre-show matches. Not one went to Raw. I will tout every single time I talk about this pay-per-view that Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin, the most useless match next to Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley, should have been on the pre-show. Not Sanity versus The New Day, which was a fantastic tables match that was relegated to the pre-show. The 2 biggest acts from NXT that came up in the last 6 months are Andrade Cien Almas and Sanity, and they were pre-show fodder for Extreme Rules. 10 matches on the main card. These 2 definitely deserved it. This tables match was great. So good, in fact, that they had to make mention of it during the actual show. They didn't make mention of Cien Almas. They didn't make it a point to show any clips from his match, although it was good. I hate them sometimes. Just saying. Sanity, in need of a win, a much-needed win, definitely procured it tonight. They put Kofi Kingston through the table in a very vicious way, and Sanity came away with the win tonight. Great, good for them. I wonder what they'll do next. Probably find a way to bury them on SmackDown Live. Who the hell knows? The show kicks off after the pre-show with the Tag Team Championship. The B Team versus the Eaters of Worlds. And I wish this whole thing would just be deleted from my whole entire memory of wrestling. Once again, much like tonight's Ironman match, when Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy were forged together and this idea of this tag team came to be, I had great expectations that it would be wonderful. Yes, I thought it was going to be fantastic. We were going to have a collision of entities and everything would be grand in the illusion of the cosmos and skies and all the other fucking shit they like to say, right? All that nonsense. And I was on board. And then we started to see the B Team. And right off the bat, I kind of was on board for the B Team. We need tag teams, and I thought that this was going to be something good. And then they just wanted to run it into the ground. And week after week show us the same shit. And then give us the B Team winning in odd situations. Not even really winning in good wrestling matches or earning the respect of the fans. They are the comedy section of the tag team division, much like the Fashion Police in the days of old on SmackDown Live. And now tonight, we get to crown them tag team champions. The B Team defeated the Deleters of Worlds tonight, the Eaters of Worlds. New tag team champions. What? What? I don't get it. I don't get it. I said in the preview in the prediction show, I thought the titles were going to stay on Hardy and Wyatt, and that they would end up absolving Bo Dallas, or assimilating them, Axel and Dallas, into the Wyatt Hardy family, whatever. But now I feel like they're going to separate them already before they even gave it a chance to begin. And Bray Wyatt versus Matt Hardy might actually be a thing now because there was a miscommunication. And now their two entities are probably going to collide and meet at SummerSlam. I don't know, you guys. I just don't get it. I don't get it. We have Kurt Angle come out on screen before we get to the next match. He comes out in the back. At least he wasn't on his fucking cell phone for once. And he has something to say to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's summer vacation is going to be over. He has no choice but to either show up tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, or give Kurt Angle a call and settle on when he's going to defend the championship. Or Kurt Angle, finally, after months of this guy not being around, is going to strip Brock Lesnar of the title. Once upon a time, there was a 30-day clause, or maybe it was 60. If you couldn't defend the title within 60 days, you were automatically stripped of the title. That was a very classic stipulation they like to throw at us every once in a while to force a good heel champion into defending his title, although he did not want to. Okay, so that now Brock Lesnar's been away for what, like 190,000 days, and now he's finally deciding he's going to maybe do something about it. So now they're trying to get everybody to tune into Raw tonight because apparently the Beast is going to be in town. Do you give a shit? Because I don't. It's not going to lead to anything good at all. So the next match came up was this. We had Happy Finn, Happy Smiley Finn versus the dumbwaiter, Constable Corbin. I know what a dumbwaiter actually is, but it actually sounds exactly like the description of what you're seeing right here. This thing, this bald-headed thing with the vest and the three-piece suit. What, you don't got wrestling gear no more, bro? You're gonna come out and dressed up like a fucking 9-foot penguin and wrestle Finn Balor? Got your tail sticking out of the back of your pants halfway through, your buttons are popping, you look like an idiot. You don't have wrestling gear no more. Or you just don't even care enough to get dressed. Did you forget you had a match tonight? Did the airline lose your bags? What, dude? Walking around looking like a living Mr. Potato Head. Wrestling the happiest jobber in the world. Finn Balor, the world's happiest jobber. This match was useless. Was it entertaining? It was a good match. It was better than what I expected. But what did it accomplish for Finn Balor? Nothing. The only thing that it accomplished is it got us to see Baron Corbin's shiny head. And I could live my whole life without having to see it again. Baron Corbin had a great potential. Look at these guys. Look at this picture. These two individuals on this screen right now don't even look like the Finn Balor and Baron Corbin that I was hoping to see in the main roster. They are so far from what their potential was and what they were packaged as on the day that they arrived to the main roster. You don't even have to go back to NXT. They came up with everything in place to be a big star. And now we have a happy loser and a bald idiot that don't even want to get dressed for his matches anymore. Does this match matter? Absolutely not. Finn Balor got the win. Do you care? Of course not. Talking about not caring. And if you want to talk about derailing a show right at the onset, I mean, this was the third match on the night. And holy shit. I don't know who Carmella is banging on the main roster. I don't know if she's given head to the creative team. I don't know if maybe she actually does have a lot of money. And maybe she is in the money. And she's paying everybody in the WWE to keep her in this spotlight in which they want to keep her in. You tell me what the point of having her as the champion is. I'll wait. For what reason, in a standard match, where Carmella used a weapon of some sort to attain victory, why was she not disqualified? What was the point of having this idiot in the shark cage if your only end goal was to have him dangling like a fucking piñata? The world's ugliest piñata hanging from a cage, and then they lower it. And Asuka stops them from lowering it for some reason. You know, the biggest thing that pissed me off about it is not just that Carmella won and Ellsworth got out of the cage, but Asuka looks like the biggest fool in the world. First of all, much like when he came out in the stupid Asuka costume, why is she even paying attention to him? Why does she give a shit about this guy? She should have just let him hang there and watch as she beat the shit out of his girl. That's what she should have did. You want to take a few shots at him? Fine. Boom, boom, boom. Knock him out. Why was her attention not on the women's champion? Why was her goal to beat up a worm and not to get the title off of this garbage bag that thinks she's worth a lot of money? Explain it to me. How one of the greatest female wrestlers in the world today loses to this abomination of a professional wrestler. This is more of the same that we're getting with Alexa Bliss. Everybody knows I'm a big fan of Alexa Bliss, but I see the writing on the wall. This is Divas era bullshit. Carmella's attractive to most of you. She's not to me. I don't find her attractive at all. She might be your cup of tea, and that's fine. Maybe you like tea that tastes like the Staten Island dump. That's your prerogative, because that's all I see. Forget a dumpster fire. She's taking the whole Staten Island dump and setting it ablaze like a California wildfire. That's what it is for me to watch Carmella. And to watch her beat Asuka now for the third time. As a wrestling fan, it's unacceptable. It doesn't sit right with me. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And this is not what I want in my women's wrestling. Asuka, this match, she should have came in there, tore Carmella apart, and let this fucking jerk-off watch from above in tears. It's worse than what I anticipated. I knew for sure he was going to drop something into the ring and try to have some sort of an effect on the outcome, but this is ridiculous. Asuka should have never taken focus off of the women's champion. James Ellsworth is an afterthought. He shouldn't even have been brought back to the roster. So the only reason you brought him back was to justify a title reign for a woman who can't wrestle. So you have to make it make sense somehow. How else is she beating Asuka? By using heel tactics and outsmarting the Empress of Tomorrow? Garbage. Extreme fail. On an epic level. This match. I don't really know what to feel about this match because on the one hand, I don't appreciate squash matches for championship titles. But the way they did it made it kind of make sense. You know, the low blow to start the match. Shinsuke Nakamura with an obvious advantage. Jeff Hardy, the referee, asking him if he's sure he wants to continue. He makes the conscious decision to tell the referee he's okay. He gets hit with a Kinshasa. Now we have a new United States champion in the evil Shinsuke Nakamura. We then have Randy Orton come out. Has this really intense stare down with the new U.S. champion. And then swerves everybody and takes aim at Jeff Hardy. I couldn't have been happier in this moment. When he came out, initially I was like, oh, Randy Orton, we're going back to Orton Nakamura again. I don't want to see this. And then he did what he did to Jeff Hardy, and I was like, yes, finally they're waking up. Evil Randy Orton is the best Randy Orton. And I can't wait to see this go on and on and on. Orton versus Hardy is a great feud. And taking the title away from it is even better. I just hope that they don't involve Shinsuke and then start having triple threats and all these type of things with Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. Just let that be. That's big enough to be a feud on its own. It doesn't need championships. Hardy versus Orton, legend versus legend. It's going to be great. I'm for it. Let Shinsuke Nakamura now take the United States Championship. Be that evil foreign heel that Jinder Mahal could not even come close to with the WWE Heavyweight Championship. And I think it'll be alright. Maybe by having the United States Championship, Shinsuke might bring his level and his stock back up to maybe one day have the possibility of being a heavyweight champion once again. But as of right now, although I'm not a big fan of people who lost in their attempts to procure the World Heavyweight Championship being gifted with championship matches, in this case I'm kind of okay with it, only because I was not big on Jeff Hardy being the United States Champion. I didn't think it was necessary. This is much more necessary. I loved this by the time it was all said and done. It was short, it was sweet, it was like a nice little gift wrap right in the middle, like, here, sometimes we know what we're doing, but, you know, we're not going to give you too much of that, so we got to keep it short. That's the way I could define this match. Shinsuke Nakamura, our new U.S. champion. Who knew? Not me. I didn't think they were going to go with it. Just like I didn't think this match was going to come anywhere near what it did. Alright, I had no interest in this match, and kudos to both of these guys for actually making it interesting. However, the hammer comes down on both Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens tonight, because the booking of this match made both of these men look like complete assholes. Braun Strowman gets handcuffed to the ropes by Kevin Owens. Why didn't he just go right over the top of the cage? Why are you sitting there waving at him, blowing kisses, teasing him, getting close to him? He's handcuffed. Get the fuck out of there, bro. You could have went between his legs and through the door. If you didn't feel like climbing over the top, you want to stop and play games and blow kisses at a monster. Everybody knew he was going to break those cuffs right off the ropes. Nobody knew that anybody was ever going to take a bump a la Mick Foley Hell in a Cell ever again. I did not, even when the threat of it was there, and Braun Strowman had Kevin Owens on top of the cage, ready to execute a chokeslam. I thought for sure he was going at least to the inside of the ring. I did not think he was going to do what they eventually did. And once again, as great as this moment might be for wrestling, Braun Strowman throws Kevin Owens out of the cage and through the announce table. So Kevin Owens wins! Braun Strowman looks like an idiot. He just threw him out of the match. He threw him out of the cage. He gave Kevin Owens the match. He didn't look like the winner when all was said and done. He was carted out of there and he was all strapped up. He just took a 15-foot fall from the top of a steel cage. So does he look like a winner? No. Braun Strowman standing at the top of the cage with his hands raised up screaming, "Braun!" But you lost, bro, because you're a dumbass. Kevin Owens won by a string of luck. But you too, sir, are a dumbass. And you allowed them to make you look like that. Why would you not immediately exit the cage as soon as you have this beast handcuffed to the corner with nowhere to go? Logic does not exist in the WWE. So Owens wins, but yet still loses. Not bad of a match, but whatever. This was a mess. Earlier in the night, we had the Bludgeon Brothers attack Daniel Bryan and Kane in the back. They put Kane's foot in between a open door and they smashed it with a sledgehammer. All night long, online, on Twitter, speculations running rampant. Who's going to be Daniel Bryan's replacement partner? A lot of people thought it was going to be Randy Orton. But then he showed up during the Shinsuke Nakamura angle, so that squashed that. So a lot of people, including myself, automatically assumed it was going to be the Hulkster, since Hulk Hogan was supposedly going to be in and around Extreme Rules, and they announced that he is now back in the Hall of Fame and has lifted his suspension. I thought maybe they were going to do that, and bring the Hulkster out for Daniel Bryan. Thank God we didn't see that either, but they went this ridiculous route where they had Kane, 7-foot-tall jerk-off, walking out in a boot. Big old boot on his leg. Guy could barely walk to the ring. He was medically cleared. A doctor cleared him to wrestle. The guy couldn't even walk. You don't think about that? How stupid do you think we are as wrestling fans? The WWE doctors, according to this matchup, said, nah, Kane's alright. His foot's probably broken, and we'll just put it in a boot, and we'll clear him to wrestle. But this guy or that guy bumps their head, and they're out for 3 weeks for concussion syndrome and all kinds of testing and whatnot. That's the least of my concerns, or my complaints, rather. But Daniel Bryan took a whole lot of abuse, and they played up to the fact that he was all alone in this handicap scenario, leading to the big reveal of Kane coming out as a crippled idiot who did nothing but facilitate Daniel Bryan definitely losing this match. He was doing much better on his own. But what kind of story is that you're telling? The Bludgeon Brothers needed some sort of an advantage to get a win in your minds over Kane? Kane, I'm pretty sure at 50 years old, a 100% healthy Kane still could not do anything worth worrying about to the Bludgeon Brothers. Why you had to cut him down, and they kept making reference to, oh, well, he's about a 70% Big Red Machine tonight. Go fuck yourself. Who cares? Are you kidding me? You continue to book Daniel Bryan in some of the worst angles possible. What was the point of doing all of this for them to just lose so unceremoniously? Are they really going to build towards Daniel Bryan versus Kane? That's not anything I think anybody wants to see. The Miz did not show up at Extreme Rules tonight, much to my dismay. I thought he was going to be the reason, the catalyst for the Bludgeon Brothers to win this matchup. He was a part of the build, was he not? Once again, WWE not making sense. However, I am appreciative that they didn't roll over on the Bludgeon Brothers and that all the work that they're putting into actually trying to build this team didn't go to waste. But what did they really gain tonight by beating a team of Daniel Bryan, one of the best wrestlers in the world, and a 50-year-old one-legged mayor? You gonna put that on your resume? I ain't. That's for sure. Oh. And the most boring match of the night, as we could have all expected, goes to Reigns versus Trashley. Boring Trashley did not disappoint, and he did not bring an ounce of enthusiasm to the upper part of his face. The human headband walked out there tonight and took on the big dog. And not a single person gave a flying fuck. We want Beach Bowl and Rusev Day chants immediately littered the arena. Now, in this case, it was well-deserved, because this is a match that was booked that nobody gave two shits about. But I will give the WWE credit. I have to give them credit for actually putting this match here and not making it the main event of the evening. That is the best thing they did on this night. Other than that, it was a slow, methodical muscle fest between two guys moving as slow as molasses and doing nothing impressive and pretty much giving us a generic one-on-one matchup that meant absolutely nothing to no one. When Bobby Lashley won this thing, nobody gave a shit. And now they are building him to be the next in line for Brock Lesnar. Do you care? I don't give a shit. Bobby Lashley survives 2 Superman punches and then executes a spear of his own on Roman Reigns. Why can't they come up with a new move besides a spear for these people that they want to be so dominating? Goldberg's got the spear. Roman's got the spear. Edge had a spear. Now Lashley's got the spear. Who cares, man? Get something new. Get something new. Doesn't even beat him with his dominating suplex or whatever the fuck he calls it. He beat him with a spear. So now he got beat with his own move. And the WWE's poor Roman train continues to chug on down the tracks. They want everybody to go, oh, Roman got his ass kicked by the worst guy in the world. He got beat by a guy with no personality. I feel so bad for him. I hope he gets a shot at Brock Lesnar. How do they think that's going to happen? How do they see that working into that scenario? If I was 71 years old and running $1 million company, maybe I would see it that way too. But I certainly don't understand the vision going forward. But it's full steam ahead on boo-hoo. Let's feel bad for the big dog. Put the big dog out to pasture. Bring him to the vet and put him down. It's time to go away. Why would you care about Roman Reigns, especially after this? Doesn't make sense. Just like I don't understand why anybody at all would care about this absolutely horrendous offering from the women's division. I'm going to try to maintain some level of calmness here, because if you wanted to take the competitors out of this matchup, leave everything else about it exactly the same, and put Sasha Banks and Bayley in this scenario, this match maybe would have got over. But whoever booked this match for these girls needs to be fired. First of all, what was the point of having Mickie James and Natalya out there? This is an Extreme Rules match. This is an Extreme Rules match. There should be no one on the outside. No one. It's not about there being no rules. You're both coming out there with backup? Why? It's not a gang fight. You're supposed to be going out there one-on-one. Can't wait to get my hands on you. Oh, and I'm going to bring my girl with me. Right off the bat, I just was turned off immediately. Too many bodies on the outside, especially that you're going to have Ronda in the arena somewhere. Right? You got her sitting ringside, so now you got 5 women involved in this segment. For what? It's supposed to be about 2. And at the end of the day, it's supposed to be about Ronda Rousey and whoever was going to end up being the women's champion on the end of this night, most especially Alexa Bliss, because they already started to build that feud. She's the reason that Ronda Rousey is suspended and all this other bullshit that's happening is going on. But instead, we get this with too much going on. Mickie James throwing weapons at Alexa. Nia Jax trying to act like a giant, but not. I mean, I don't get it. She's like, she's strong and dominant 1 minute, and then the next minute she's a friggin' mouse of a woman, and she gets hit very lightly with a garbage pail, and it's like you hit her with a ton of bricks. She's 3 times the size of Alexa Bliss. She should be brushing off everything Alexa throws at her. And then you want to have Ronda Rousey's involvement come in based off of the fact that she's mad that Natalya got hurt. Whoa! Stand back! Crazy fucking natty cat is on the floor. That did it for her. That was it. That's what pushed Ronda Rousey over the edge. Nothing that Alexa Bliss did. You know, don't have Alexa get in her face. You know, let Alexa give her a little mush. Maybe let her be the aggressor. Let her do something. No, Ronda just gets mad on her own because Natty's on the floor. Next thing you know, she's throwing bodies all over the place. And this is okay. You didn't send security out? At least present the illusion that you give a shit or that you follow the rules. I know it's Extreme Rules, but spectators are not allowed to jump the barricade. She's been suspended from active competition. She's suspended from Raw. She had to buy a ticket. So now she is a fan. She's jumping the guardrail. Why did you not have security even pretend to drag her out of there? She's just standing there in the middle of the ring with Nia Jax all sad and pouty and Natty sitting there all sad and pouty and Ronda in her Ronda face. She should be being dragged away off camera, being taken by security, call the police, something. You're not supposed to do that shit. It didn't make sense. Everybody knew that Alexa Bliss was going to win. Everybody knew there was going to be shenanigans before it was all said and done. Alexa Bliss retains. Who cares? Right? Now all it's about is seeing where they go with Rousey. Are we getting Rousey versus Bliss at SummerSlam? It definitely looks like that's the case. And that's just going to be to coronate Ronda Rousey, the new women's champion. Am I going to hate it? No. Am I going to love it? No. But at least it'll be different. And it won't be Alexa. Because Alexa needs to take a little time away, I think. Tonight's match was a mess. This match between these girls, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It was an embarrassment to the women's division. It was sloppy. The timing was off. Their execution was terrible. Carmella level terrible. I don't want to talk about it no more. The semi-main event. Funny to me that even when the Universal Championship is not up for grabs or on the show, the WWE Championship can't main event a show. Can't main event a show. Just goes to show you what Vince really thinks about SmackDown Live. Like, he created this show, like 20 years ago to compete with WCW Thunder. And it's now become a $1 billion commodity in the wrestling industry. But their superstars can't main event the show. 2 of their matches on the night, like we said earlier, went to the pre-show. Because Raw is just that much more important. So much more so that a 30-minute Ironman match, which isn't actually an Ironman match, is going to be booked as the main event for the Intercontinental Championship over the WWE Championship. Would I really have a problem with this on an ordinary night? No. But the fact that we haven't seen the WWE Championship in a main event match in forever now, even being second fiddle to Raw's Intercontinental Championship at this point, just goes to show you it's like they just don't care. They really just don't care about this belt. All they care about is that red belt and the red brand, and this is just, I guess, for the other wrestling fans to enjoy. Regardless that Vince McMahon's happy with AJ Styles' performance. And that couldn't have been clearer than on this night as he was victorious against Rusev. This was a good match for both guys. The crowd was very split right down the middle, I think, for both superstars, which is a problem that the WWE needs to address. But, you know, it really could have been better at the end of the day. I don't think the crowd was that invested in it. I think the crowd was starting to get tired, and everybody knew Rusev wasn't going to win. There's no push behind Rusev. We all know the WWE's feelings for Rusev. Rusev Day has slowly been being killed on a regular basis. 1 week he's on TV, the next week he's not. 1 week he's going to be in this major push, and now he's had his championship match. He's lost to AJ Styles. Where does Rusev Day go from here? Sunday, July the 15th, definitely not a happy Rusev Day on the calendar in the house of the Lion of Bulgaria. AJ Styles retained his title. And, I mean, it was a good match. I just thought it could have been better. Maybe, like I said, the WWE shoots themselves in the foot by doing crazy things, like putting them in the semi-main event, and AJ Styles maybe just like, well, you know, if I'm not closing the show, then, you know, I'll give him an 80% match. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of that going on. Because I thought this would have been better. It was a good match. It wasn't a great match. It wasn't a classic. Rusev looked great. You know, I can do without the Aiden English thing. But then it wouldn't really be Rusev Day. I don't know. So much has got me all twisted up, as you can tell. Every week it's just more and more of the same. And I have no idea where they're going. AJ Styles is still the WWE Champion, as we all expected. So we'll see what happens to Rusev from here. Probably goes right back to the bottom of the barrel. Maybe he'll be turned into a babyface and will be the first challenger for Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Championship. Go back down that road for him. That might be alright. I think I'd be alright with that. Who knows? But let's wind this up by getting back to the main event. We already told you guys everything that really needed to be said about this. 30 minutes, ending in a 4-4 tie. Sudden death overtime. A 3-3 tie, sudden death overtime, going to a 4-3 win. Or I might have said, I don't even care. I don't even care. They took the wind right out of this match for me. These guys tried at the beginning and then just started to do a lot of sleeper holds, a lot of rest holds. After giving us 2 or 3 tremendous outings on a Monday Night Raw, it's like they definitely phoned tonight in. Is that the fault of the Pittsburgh crowd for the countdown clock? The world may never know. But at the end of the day, Dolph Ziggler is still your Intercontinental Champion. And I don't think Seth Rollins is done with him by a long shot. We'll have to tune into Raw tomorrow night to see the fallout from all of this extreme nonsense, as Extreme Rules was an extreme failure, at least in my opinion. And we had to drop the hammer down on it in a big way, as you can see. Thank you guys so much for joining us. That is your Extreme Rules review and reaction show on this July 15th, 2018. Thank you all so very much for being here with us on Sledgehammer TV, which is available on YouTube.com. And don't forget, if you are listening to us on our audio platforms, which is iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, and Podbean, baby, take me out of your ears and get your eyes onto the screen over at youtube.com/sledgehammertv so that you could be one of the hundreds of people that are joining in floods right now. By the minute, we are gaining subscribers here, and I want to thank all the new people that have joined and have become part of the Sledgehammer Club. Over Extreme Rules weekend, we had a nice jump aboard of a huge influx of subscribers, and let's let that continue. Let's get this damn channel to 1,000 subscribers before we hit SummerSlam, the lamest party of the summer, because the real biggest party of the summer is going on right here on Sledgehammer TV. August the 17th will be our 2nd year anniversary, kicking off SummerSlam weekend with a House of Glory show, going to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4, covering everything happening all SummerSlam weekend. Make sure that you are subscribed to not miss a fucking thing, because it's going to be a great summer on Sledgehammer TV. The Mae Young Classic 2 is also coming our way. We are going to be covering it in its entirety. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a thing. Hit that notification bell like you're trying to stop the main event from ending. This way, you will stay notified every single time an awesome video just like this one drops, bringing you the absolute best coverage in professional wrestling on the internet today. Also, the home of the most badass unboxing show, the absolute best unboxing show on the planet, resides right here at Sledgehammer TV on YouTube.com. The SBS June edition was dropped couple of weeks ago. We crowned our first ever champion. Take a look if you missed it. Nobody does an unboxing like Nick Nightmare does an unboxing, and the subscription box showdown is there for you guys to check it out. All the wrestling news that you need all weekend long. Stay right here with us to keep in the know. Our Raw reviews are up, SmackDown reviews, the review of everything this weekend. We got news stories coming at you by the dozens, and make sure you go check out everything I have for you on this channel, because the fun don't stop here on Sledgehammer TV. And when you do, make sure you take your sledgehammer at home and you bash down that thumbs up. Make sure everybody knows that you enjoyed your time here at the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, and then share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over this beautiful wrestling world, so that we can educate them, make sure that they are in the know, and that they are part of the best club known to man. Not the Bullet Club, the Sledgehammer Club. right here on Sledgehammer TV. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is Thor, the Hammer of Reality, the wrestling god of thunder, and the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. My little buddy, my most trusted companion in the whole entire world, Mr. Blue the Snowball Microphone, the world heavyweight champion of all the microphones in all the world. Thank you for joining us for the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Extreme Rules review and reaction show. That is going to do it, and we are out of here. And we will see you tomorrow night for the Monday Night Raw review right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Let's go get some rest, because the most extreme thing about tonight is probably the spiking of my blood pressure. Have a good night.